Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here. So we're a national solid state NMR facility. We also have some spectrometers at the university for local users. So we have tried a couple of different things, X2Go, Tiger VNC, and TeamViewer. We're still using X2Go and TeamViewer. I'll go through a little bit of what our network configuration at University of Warwick looks like. So we have the greater university, and then a firewall where we have a file server that people at the university with an account can look at, and a local server, and then our NMR lab computers are behind this firewall here. So this is my naive understanding of what a network looks like. So sorry. So the X2Go and Tiger VNC, they have to tunnel in through the University of Warwick, and then go through our local server, and then we can see our local lab computers. Whereas the TeamViewer, it just goes directly into the NMR lab computers directly, bypassing the firewall a little bit. So there's pros and cons. We couldn't actually get the Tiger VNC to work with the keyboard and mouse input, so we didn't spend a lot of time on Tiger VNC. We found that TeamViewer was quite a bit easier to use. With X2Go, there's a lot of initial admin, so you have to set up public keys and private keys. Have to set up with a user account, which during COVID, the IT guys were a little bit overprescribed, and so that was a little bit harder to do. I've found that X2Go, it's on our 700 now, which is halfway across campus. So this was set up before the COVID came in, because it's a 15-minute walk to it from our offices. It's a little bit unresponsive, so there's a bit of maybe a half a second, 2-second delay between moving the mouse and it moving on the screen. It's free, so that's a pro. The TeamViewer is quite easy to log in. It's easy to set up, just requires a user account. It's less secure. You get data transfer and messaging for free, and it comes with it. It does cost money. Right now we're using it on the gigahertz, the 850, and one of the 600s. When a new magnet comes in for the national facility, it will go on to the 1.2. So to use TeamViewer, I'm sorry if this is all boring for you, but this is what I could think of. So to log in so you would get your credentials from the this is a picture taken from the gigahertz console. So you send this picture to the user, they can put it into the login screen on their computer. You authenticate, and you end up with remote control. So this was what was running yesterday. And you have full control over everything. You can change the temperature, change the MAS rate. The only thing you can't really do easily is tune and change a sample. We have played with a automatic tune or a remote tuning device. It's just a stepper motor controlled by an Arduino. It's usable, but it's not really convenient. So we don't have the option, as in Solution NMR, to tune it from the seat. So we had to set something up special for it. So our mode of operation during the lockdown was usually the user will either ship in a sample or bring a sample with them, usually in a powder or a vial. Sometimes we'd ship out a rotor for them to use, and they would pack it and send it back to us, or something like that. We would then put in a standard sample. If it was, say, an oxygen, if they were wanting to run a oxygen 17 MQ mass, we'd put in water for them. We'd put in something to set the magic angle, and we'd have a sample packed, an experimental sample for them. So we'd run all of the pulse optimizations and magic angle set and all of that for them, which has to be done in person. Then we'd put in their stuff and we'd hand over the magnet. Now, hand over the console to them. Usually this was done with a computer set next to the console. So we have a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting open. TeamViewer also has a lovely chat feature, and sometimes we would leave notes. The Linux has notes that you can leave on the like little post-it notes on the that everyone can see. So after the lockdown, it's changed a bit. Users usually show up now. They usually bring in all of their samples. Sometimes they're packed, sometimes they need to be packed. So we still do the standard experiments and still get them kicked off. Then usually they take off for home after they've put their actual experimental sample in and have everything packed up, ready for us to go. And so they can monitor their experiment there. Sometimes even going home is just to the NMR house, the hotel, and monitoring it there so that they don't have to walk the extra 100 yards down to the lab to check and make sure everything's going fine. We'll change samples once or twice a day. More than twice a day is a little bit hard on the local management team here, because packing and unpacking samples can be a little bit tedious sometimes, and difficult and take a while. So let me see, there it goes. So as statistics from the COVID year, where no one was really allowed in, except for Warwick employees. So 11 out of 20 PhD students, this is on the 850 and gigahertz magnets. So we had 20 PhD students, 9 of them were from Warwick. 11 were fully remote. So 6 out of 10 postdocs were fully remote. We only had one industry day, but I put all just for my own edification. So those were all fully remote. We had staff or facility managers that were all 4 out of 5. The 5th is me. So, and then 4 out of 29 PIs actually used the instrumentation, actually were on the magnet, remotely controlling things, which is, fairly high from what I've come to believe is the norm. So after we've collected our data, you can access it either through the network or through TeamViewer. So this is what our showing our network once again. So to access the TeamViewer or the data, we kick it back out with either TeamViewer or onto a university file server. So using TeamViewer, you authenticate back on again. You tick a box that says file transfer. You find where you want to put it. You find where it is. Here's the guys at Crick ran data, and I'm playing like I'm them. So you just pull it over. It gives you a nice bar telling you how far you've progressed. Either that, or we can get you an account at Warwick. This is actually usually pretty fast. It happens within a day. It's not a full account. It's just a data access account. You can mount the drive. This is the way I do it on my computer. And then here you have access to the data through your file browser, or you can do through My Files and through the web and download it through the web. So that's all I have for that. We are also part of a Panacea project, and I would like to advertise that. You can use high field or DNP facilities, solid state NMR at Lyon, Orléans, Aarhus, Florence, Nijmegen, Gothenburg, Aveiro, Tallahassee, or with us. We have a lot of great equipment that you can use. You get 14 days of high field NMR time. Several of us are fairly desperate for users. So if you have someone that would like to do some solid state NMR in a chemistry related way, we have a lot of fields. Please go visit Panacea and see what you can do. And if you have any questions or anything, I'd be happy to take any questions.